and welcome to Tokotas' third mini podcast about gardening. Apologies, I know exactly how exhausted I sound. This is Jill. Dunn is sitting next to me. We have been off all weekend at a convention.
Is weekend accurate? We left last Thursday.
Yeah, I guess we left Thursday. We got back at 2 a.m. last night. And then I woke up and did my gardening test, and it harvested this morning, and everything worked. So I went, screw it. Let's do this podcast. Let's go. We're gonna kick off Messy Alpha. So, what are we talking about? For anyone who's here at part 3 and has no idea what I'm talking about, go back to part 1. Like, seriously, go. We'll be here when you get back. You'll find us in the same YouTube or on Twitch, but I can't backtrack that far. Last time we spoke in part 2, we talked through the harvesting and how that was going to work. And what we were left then with was the garden reset and the plot events. So let's kick this off real quick. Let's hop on over there and I'll talk about it. And I'll talk about that too in a second. Bum, bum, bum. Let's go to, it's now called, well, actually I can get to it from here. Nope, that's crafting. Yeah, it's fine. There we go, gardening. So, I have gone through an entire to-do with gardening. What I did is I set up my garden from beginning to end. I went ahead and, find your words, my dear. I went ahead and plowed, planted, grew something with short grew time, beginning to end, watered it, guarded it every day as I was supposed to, worked on unlocking, harvested, and then planted another plant. And as you can see, that's in its first stage where it's like, hey, I need to water. And I noticed that I didn't have enough energy to water it. So tomorrow I'm expecting it to take some damage. It's not going to be a big deal because I'm about to wipe my system out and welcome everyone in. So I've gone end to end testing, E to E, from the beginning to the end, and we are functional. I still expect there are bugs hidden in the system. In fact, I found a real fun one with dates, where dates were one day in the past because JavaScript, and I had to, what are you futzing around with? You know they can hear that.
They cannot hear me futzing with that.
Yes, they can. The little bar goes up. Okay, so that being said, I did one whole thing. I think I got Foxfire. We'll talk about in a second. And I do expect there still to be bugs. There was bugs with the dates showing up. There was a bug with moving grow phase. Like, it was moving and it harvested correctly, but the grow phase wasn't moving because of those dates. And then the journal didn't initially populate, but I solved all of those problems. So, having done the finishing developer end-to-end, now it's time for QA. And for QA, that means we don't have time. We do, but if I have the admins going QA this, that is going to take weeks. This is a system that's built on time and days. So I decided that we were going to do this messy alpha, which is really QA testing, quality assurance, that we would normally do 100% before we handed it to you. So you're only dealing with basically our live UATs, user assurance testing. And, you know, you've seen them. They happen. Taming did a very similar thing where it went into very early, quick UAT, and y'all had to help me solve things, and we were doing real-time fixes. So that's happened. We're going there now. This is going to be messier than taming for that reason. It's not had people hitting it before you got your hands on it. You will be the people who are kicking it to see if it's in. This is the test of the group, basically. From last time, I think, let me see, is there anything else? Oh, as you can see, I've made some changes. I now have some of these lovely little boxes right here that open and close. I have your plant journal, and the plant journal will persist one day. Kind of. It'll persist to, let's say, 3 days pass. You gardened on Monday, you open it on Thursday. You'll see 3 different dates, the one for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And every plot will have its own little log that you'll be able to check through. If there's no plant there, it'll just say no plant here. And that will persist until the next time a reset happens on your garden, or a processing, or rollover, whatever we decide to call it. Maybe we'll call it a sunrise. Every sunrise on your garden is there in the log. And then tomorrow, when I log this in, this Monday one is gone. It's gone to the wind. We won't see it again. I'm just saving that one sunrise over and over again for you in the same spot. So you don't have a history, but you can at least keep referring back to what happened and it doesn't just disappear in a modal pop up. So that changed. Garden events. Here's what we have for the get go. We have maybe a 10% chance that you're going to get a plot event at most. And it's 10% per open plot that has something planted in it. Of that 10%, there are 6 bad and 6 good. The bad ones, they all, 5 of them decay your plants. They do pest damage. And if you are unlucky and you hit this pest's favorite type, favorite family, it does twice as much damage. It'll show you. You'll figure those out really quick. We'll probably make them open secrets. They'll be known. And then there's one that grows more weeds. I think that's cats. Cats bring more weeds into your garden. On the other side, there is 5 healers. And those healers all also have a favorite type. So they'll heal twice as much if it's that favorite type. And those are, you can't guard against positive. You can only guard against negative. So positive events will continue to happen regardless of if you have a guard or not there in that plot. So you can't guard against positive, only negatives. And there's also, I think it's sheep or something. I need to double check what it is. They will eat all of the weeds in a plot, regardless of how many levels of weeds are in there. They'll eat all of it and just set you back down to 0. For weather, we finalized on, was it 6, 5, or 6 weather types? Do you recall?
I don't have the thing open.
Okay. I have it right here. Give me just a second, everybody. I'll tell you those. Nope, not that one. I need helper. Get weather. Oh, it's 6. So for weather, you have a 33% chance that weather will affect your garden. There's heavy rain, which means there's no watering needed. There's heat wave, which means everything costs just a little more energy. There's light rain, which takes less energy to water. There's hail, where all plants take a small amount of damage. There's windy, where everything grows weeds. Or not everything grows weeds, but your chance at growing weeds is higher, and one of your plots will definitely grow weeds. Unless you have the positive event that removes weeds. The positive plot events take priority over negative plot events, and plot events in general take priority over weather events. And then finally, we have partially cloudy, where everything costs slightly less energy. Okay? So that's the weather that you can run into in this. Those should all be wired in and working. I have not tested those. I haven't tested events down to the wire. I haven't. So if you see an event, pop and make sure it does what we say it's supposed to do. Pop over to the feedback channel and ask. I will tell you. It's not secret knowledge. Those are the most likely things that we're going to run into bugs with in this. I could test myself for the next 4 weeks to get through all of these plot events and to have them mostly shored up before you touch it, or we can all play together and in January we can have an open beta, right? It's one or the other. So that's where we are on plot events. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, did I show you guys how unlock works? I don't think I did. So here's how it is. You'll see here that they all tell you how much energy is left to unlock. The second plot is, sorry everybody, the second plot will be 300 energy to unlock. You can see I've been putting my extra into unlocking as I go. If you click on these, they're not going to work. You have to unlock them in order. So here I've been putting things in. It'll ask you how much energy you want to put into it. I'm going to cheat a little. Let me go into my database and give me some energy so that you can see it in action. Sorry, running over to my other tab. I'm going to pause for questions in a second, everyone, before we talk about exactly how the alpha is going to work. So if you've got questions, start thinking about them, start putting them in Discord. I will answer them. I am just... I'm speed running the explanation of things that have been updated. I think I'm remembering to talk about everything that we hadn't talked about yet, which was mostly events and reset. And I'll go through the order of reset. I'll finish this explanation, show you the unlock, pause for questions, then I'll show you the order of reset actions, sunrise actions, and then we'll talk about the beta. That's kind of my goal right now. There we go. Made it to my database. Jump back over here to my garden. Cancel. Confirm. You see I have 100 energy, so I can choose to give this 100 energy. But it tells me right away, hey, like there's all my energy. It disappeared. Energy's applied. No, the plot has not been unlocked. It still needs 55 to go. And then I'm going to go ahead and give myself 100 energy, or at least 90 energy one more time, so we can see this in action. I'm about to blow all this out, so I'm not super concerned. All right, so 55. You'll notice that I can't put 60. It's not, oh, apparently I can't put 60. I got to fix that bug. But regardless, you can't put more energy than you have. So if I put 91, it would have gone, this doesn't work. I did have 60, so it let me overspend. Whoops, I'll try and fix that. But there, plot unlocked. And as you can see, then it appears there. You can use it. I pop it open. I would say Arumi. Say, yeah, please use this dirt. Confirm. Bam. And there we go. Now it's ready to plant in. So that's how the unlock is going to work. As of now, this one will be ready to go, but these guys will still be locked. Okay? So that's plot unlock. That's plot events and weather events. Pausing for questions. People typing?
Slide over. Also, nobody could hear me futzing with Pikachu. But they all know you threw Pikachu.
Yeah, I did.
I don't see any typing yet.
Okay, cool. I mean, this isn't going to be super surprises to them. They knew these things were coming.
Tina, I'm guessing Jill's on a laptop with the pad pumps.
Yes, I very much am on a laptop.
And not a tabletop for once today.
And not a tabletop, so apologies, you are hearing that. I am so lazy, but I made the decision that you all want slightly manic after con, but has slept and been fed Jill to give you this demonstration and to kick off this alpha, then Wednesday absolutely crashed from con, not fit for public Jill to try and do this. So you're going to get loud thumps on the pad versus the crazy person that will be Wednesday.
It is true.
It is very true. Okay, so no questions there.
Tippy typing happening.
Oh, tippy typing happening? Oh, also, I guess we need a raffle. Let me just kick that off now, and I'll roll it at the end. I don't have anything for plot events, because I have them. I have the ones I can use for the moment. Will expand for sure in the future. So, Dan and I have been talking, and we said that the first tack trait benefit bonus that we'd ever make for gardening would be related to bonding. So here, let me tell you our very not thought through pitch on what we think we're going to do there for the tiers. And then you give us a yay or nay, please don't be rude, in the raffle. So we are thinking that if you take the gardening trait, which will probably be called green thumb or something like that, then you would have a slight reduction to the energy cost on actions. I'm talking like 1 or 2 points at most. And that would level up slightly with each go up. That's where I'm at right now. So just go over to raffle and tell me if you think it's a good idea or a bad idea.
You can offer us alternatives.
You can offer as alternatives, but be respectful. I know it's not a fully fleshed out idea.
All right, questions.
All right, give me the question.
Is there any info that would be useful for them to record in the alpha for your use apart from the obvious bugs?
Oh, that is a good question. That's a great question. The question is there any info that I would want you all to record in the alpha for my sake? It would be helpful if you recorded for me, especially if you have 2 Tokos running, how many actions you could feasibly take with the energy. Like, just every day. Day 1 is really easy. Harvest Day is where it got complicated for me. I didn't feel like I had enough energy. Mm-hmm. But we're going to have people starting to hit that next level of experience towards the end. So just beginning to end, how many actions you could reasonably take at the beginning versus how many actions you could reasonably take at the end of the 2-week period. That would be a helpful data point for me. Otherwise, just come in, impressions. Bugs, please give me your logic, not your feelings. On bugs, give me your... No, hold on, stop. I'll get to that in a minute. I answered that question.
No other questions. So
no other question. What was the next thing I said I was going to do? Because Messy Alpha is at the end. Unlock Order of Decay. It's not Order of Decay. I know what that sounded like. That's not what I meant. Reset garden. Okay. The order which things will happen on a reset for everybody so that it's really clear. First, natural decay will happen. I do think our numbers are too high right now, but natural decay is between 10 and 15. If you didn't water, it will make that natural decay just a little. If you did water, it will decrease the range on that natural decay. So you'll actually have a 7 to, I think it's 12. So if you water, decay will be less. Next, weeds will come into play. If you have weeds on the plot and it rolled over, you're going to take between 2 and 5 damage plus extra damage for however many levels of weeds. Weeds can keep counting up on a plot. There's no limit on how high it can count on a plot to be doing that damage. So keep that in mind. Clearing weeds, it only ever costs you 1 action. It doesn't matter if there's 15 weeds on that plot. When you clear it, it goes down to 0. Okay? So weeds. Next, plot events take effect. So we roll the event. We check the guard. If you've rolled a negative event and you have a guard, then we roll for the benefit. Ooh, I found a to-do. I need to add the benefits to people's banks. I have everything there for it, but I forgot to add the line. So please make that note for me. So if your guard is there, if you rolled a negative event and you have a guard, we roll for your benefit. If you roll a positive event, we just kick the positive event off. Let me see. So negative event, positive event. Negative event only comes first because we're checking if you have a guard, yes or no. Then weather events come into play, so anything that would damage your garden through weather, that happens. That's when we finally check your wither. So what does that mean? Wither is your plant hit 0 health. Let me show you what it looks like. Go over to plots. Plant health. I know, you were very healthy. I'd rolled really high on you. Doesn't matter. Boom. So back on over here. So if your plant hits 0, then it withers and you have this big green skull and crossbone on there. When you click on it, it says, hey, this plant has 0 health and withered. This will happen in the morning. After you do your roll over your sunrise, if the plant has 1 health, you're fine. It's not going to wither that day. You have a shot at it the next day if you don't do stuff to upkeep it. But at that point in time, you're good. And to remove a withered plant, a plant that died before harvest, it costs 5 energy. Okay? It's just 5. You don't pick a toko. It's just 5 energy, and then the plant is out of your garden, and then you can use the plot. If a plant dies during harvest, we remove it. There's no extra energy cost. You already paid an energy cost for harvesting. And then moving on from there, so then we check the wither. If your plant lives, then we grow weeds. We check to see, hey, is there an event that grows weeds? And if there is, we'll grow them. We check to see if windy came into it. It's events. And if not, then we roll weeds. And I think we're doing that at a 50-50 right now, but that does feel a little high, so we'll see where that goes. Then we calculate where you are in your grow stage, and we update your grow stage at this point. Finally, we reset the guard, we reset the water status, we take into effect any weather accounts or weather events on the water status, and then we move on to the next day. From our previous raffle, the decision was made that you want things frozen. That means they're frozen. But by making the decision that things were going to be frozen, that also means you don't get anything back when a plant dies. It's just kind of a fairness mechanic on that. If there's no chance of your plants dying after they reach their harvest date, then if they do die, like you're not getting plant matter or seeds or something of that nature back at this point in time. It's just a fair balancing mechanic. We could do it where it's everything in your benefit, but it is a game. There needs to be some drawbacks to the choices that we make. That does also mean that when your plants are frozen, let's say you froze with 13 health, you reached harvest date with 13 health, you don't have any way to take it over the 20 mark. Maybe that'll change in a later phase, but as of right now, we're not working on a way for you to be able to pull it over the 20% or the 20 health mark to avoid a harvest failure chance. Okay? And that's where we're running here. It'll be easier for us to make updates to how devastating that is with more data under our belts. When we can see how many plants are dying on the regular from this, then we can make changes to it from there. But that's the decisions we've made for the reset, for frozen on harvest, and you get all the benefits of frozen on harvest. There's no chance that your plant could get evented or natural decayed into withering. There's no chance that plot events will have any effect on it. If for some reason you don't come back for 3 months, but 2 of your plants made it to harvest, great, you'll have them. So you gain all of those benefits, and your downfalls are you don't get anything at all when the plant dies, and that there's no way for you to baby a plant beyond that harvest date to get it back up over 20. Okay? Any questions surrounding that?
I know it's in theory / in raffle right now, but if the bonding trait does get implemented, is there any chance of a small freebie switch period for that bonding trait specifically?
I don't think we have a freebie way for you to change bonding traits.
You have to redo.
You have to redo the bonding rights the same way you would if you were switching to any other trait.
Yeah.
There's already a system in place for that. I do think you can only do it X amount of times, though.
We'll double check on that one because, especially with us implementing new ones.
Well, okay, even if we're implementing new ones, like if you've used.
You know what? I haven't actually looked at the bonding trait switch mechanics in a bit. One moment.
Okay, Dun's looking up how it works. You should all know that my standpoint on it is if you've been using the benefits of a trait for years and then you want to switch it to a new trait because you like this new trait better for a Toko you've used the benefits on, it's not the same thing to me as I picked this one trait and then never used it and now I want a different trait. Like, those are two different things. If you've used the benefits of something, you gained benefit from this. It's not like you're at a disadvantage. The way we'll give you back tack when we change how tacky works.
It's not on bonding overview. Give me a moment.
Okay, I know there's a system for it because there's a field for it.
There's a field for it, and there's a field. Let's see.
There's a field on the Toko for tracking your last time you redid your bonding rights. So it must be somewhere.
Okay, there's redo bonding, so it is limited to 1 redo per Toko. That we may want to adjust since this is a complete, like, if you did a redo, we'll discuss
that because I think you and I are on different sides of this camp completely right now.
And that's okay.
That's okay, but it does mean that we don't have an answer at this point in time.
Yeah. It does look like you just have to redo T1.
Yeah, you just redo T1.
But I need to verify. I haven't actually switched anybody's bonding traits.
Yeah. My knowledge on this is that you redo the T1, which is the easiest bonding, and then you can switch traits once for a Toko.
Okay, I don't think switch. So it's coming up in the chatter that switching out T2 plus is something that I don't think anybody's ever dealt with. There's not enough in the system. But I don't feel like you should have to redo T1 through 3 rights. You just have to redo the base level.
Yeah, you just redo the base level.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
we'll double check with HU and everybody. Man, we're showing that we haven't gotten very high in bonding. Go us.
Yeah, I don't think that's reasonable ask. Redoing one set of rights to switch your trade out, especially when you only get to do it once, totally reasonable.
Yeah, making you redo all of them? No.
That seems like a big ask for that change, but I'm pretty sure that's why we have it limited to one as
Yeah.
well.
Maybe we'll reset that one. You know what? Because we have a field and database, we can just see how many have ever done it.
Yeah, this could be where we're having a big conversation about two tokos out of 70,000 plus. It's
It's
happened
happened
before.
so many times.
And oh God, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I remember it's not fair to say the group was up in arms. There was concern, and
I'm pretty sure this was an. I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that strictly was admin team.
it might have been Aventine. There was people who were very concerned about a change that we were going to implement because it was going to. They were like,
Oh,
"Well,
that's right, mail slots.
mail slots." They were like, "Mail slots. You can't do this. You can't do this." And then we went and looked, and we discovered that there was maybe 9 tokos total. This was going to affect, and everyone went, "Oh." Like that's why we make data-driven decisions.
I mean, more than 9 Tokos had unlocked the 100 slots, but I don't think more than 9 had ever used even half
Yes.
of those.
Yes. Oh, God, no, it was even less than that. I think it was like 3.
Yeah.
When we talked about how many had actually used the slots they were going to lose, and I'm air quoting that.
Yeah.
And it was like 3. And we went, never mind. This is not an issue. But we'll take a look at it and we'll figure it out. Dunn's going to try and convince me to reset, and I'm going to be like meh on it.
I'll make you pull the database. We'll double check with HU, see where we're at, and yeah. Regardless of anything, there's no way we're gonna make you redo T2 and T3 just to switch your trait.
Yeah, that's not happening. I'd be like, that's insane. That's not fun. Okay. So that's that side. And then I said, let's talk about the alpha, right? Yeah. Okay. So the alpha. Dun dun dun. I'm about to blow out all the tables in the database, so I won't have any bonus advantage on anybody here. And don't do as I do. This will be here for you soon enough. Okay. So we will be adding, you'll see it here on this end where it'll have like gardening alpha. Well, we will be doing a gardening alpha test. This is not working yet, so even if you go here, it's not going to work. So leave it alone. I will finish wiring it in and put it in the announcements channel. So we're doing a gardening alpha test. That means we're launching this, and it's going to run from 2 weeks, from today through December 16th. What's an alpha test? Alpha phases usually mean unstable, full of bugs, and unfit for public. Keep that in mind for many things in life beyond just code testing. So there absolutely will be bugs in this system. And times gardening may be down as we do real-time fixes to those bugs. To get gardening finished, we've decided to use the group, that's you, as our testers. This means you are doing the first line testing on the new gardening system. A developer testing from end to end is not first line testing. Let me tell you that as a very seasoned developer. You cannot trust us to have done all the testing on our own. There's only like one Yahoo in a million who's good at it. If we were good at it, we'd be QA testers, not developers. And we'd probably just automate it. What do I do if I find bugs? Head over to Discord and fill out our form. We will have 2 channels, maybe 3. One for bugs, one for feedback, one for discussion. We're going to have 3 because we want a place where we can
I'll
just
make
do
a
it.
new category for it.
Thank you. We'll have a category. Head on over there. What do I do if I have feedback on mechanics? We'll have a channel for that too. Head over to Discord. What if it messes up my bank? I, as in Jill, have already triple checked the 3, which I now know for sure is 4, and I'm going into that 4th place before I kick this open, that your bank is updated and they are stable. I did this on my own bank, and every time it pulled out the dirt with no issue, it pulled out the seed packet with no issue, and it put the harvest in with no issue. It's running off of a inventory module that we built a while ago. And we use that in the stores, we use that in the manage pages, and it's been functional for a while. So it's stable. We're not super worried about it. But just in case something does happen, we have nightly backups of everyone's bank. Every single night we back up our database, and we have that like a 30-day back. I might be exaggerating. It might be like 20-day back. A 20-day back history of our database and our site. So in a worst case scenario, I can bust out the backups, find your inventory in it and fix it. All right? But we're not expecting anything to happen. That's the one thing we're actually confident about going into here working correctly. Do I get to keep my progress? No. At the end of the alpha test, everything will be wiped out. That's why it's only 2 weeks and not months. You do get to keep anything you grew during that time, though. But all of your gardener's experience, all of your unlocked plots, which I really don't expect anyone to get more than like one plot unlocked if you're actually testing gardening and not just trying to unlock things, that you won't get to keep any of that. You're going to start over in the beta. Here's the nice thing about that, though. Alpha, you're not keeping your progress. In beta, everyone keeps their progress. We're going to be doing tweaks during the entirety of the alpha till we get something that we feel is more akin to what our usual betas would be like. That'll be open to everyone without having to opt in, like you see here. You're going to have to opt into the alpha. Nobody has to opt into the beta. You can just go play because we're expecting it to be stable. And everything that happens in beta, you get to keep. Progress, plots, all of that. We're not doing another system wipe at the end of beta phase. We're only doing it at the end of alpha phase because we know that it's not going to be accurate or pretty. And then finally, anything else you should know. We expect some numbers are too high. I think that some decay is too high, and I think that some other things are just a little too high. But I have to balance it across the long term of the game, so we'll see how hard it actually is for someone to get off the ground gardening. If it turns out that maybe the first month of gardening kind of sucks as you get your garden working and your Toko's experience, we can live with that because we're all going to be doing it for a lot longer than a month. If past a month you get an easy flow, cool. And then finally, all plants have a short grow during alpha. That means they have the 4-day grow. Day 1, you plant them. Day 2 and 3, they grow. Day 4, you harvest them. They have the short grow time. When we are done with alpha and we move into beta, every plant will get its actual grow time assigned to it. And that'll be true. So let's say by pure luck you grew an alder in 4 days during the alpha. Huzzah for you. But whatever alder's actual grow time, that's what'll be there in beta. That's another reason we're not going to keep progress, because you're going to be growing plants much faster in the alpha than you will in beta or live, sometimes called gold. And all seeds will be random. We're not going to have lots of different seed packets. We're just going to have the one seasonal seed packet that is a random seed. And it's very, very unlikely you will unlock some sort of region during the alpha. Okay? And when you get here, when I finish wiring this page in, you'll see this. This will all be here and you'll be able to reach back to it. It'll say, let's start gardening. You click this. You confirm that you're good with it. We're doing this so that you understand it's not stable as you join us. And then up in your activities, there will be a gardening-alpha. And when you click on that, it'll take you here and you'll be able to begin gardening. Rollover happens in the evening. I think it's on Pacific time. It's really hard to tell.
We were between our time zones for the final testing.
Yes. Half of this testing happened in one time zone and the half happened in the other. That's why the dates got away from me for a little bit. But it should be relatively around midnight that your days switch over. And then finally, I forgot this earlier, the gardening journal is also here. So for the gardening journal, when you come in here, you'll see how many you've harvested all together. You'll see your totals by families, your totals by rarities, and your region unlocks. Such as for such as for Talas, you need 10 trees. You harvest 10 trees, and now you can use Tolas. There it is. And when you click on things like this, it'll take you, I don't have any in here. You'll see little squares in here that show you the picture, the name, and all the information about it after you grow it for the first time.
They're floating around Gen Chat because someone was up to spoilers while someone was busy at con.
Yes. You were asleep, I think.
Oh, I see.
Yes, you were asleep. And I was crazy. So, that's that. Oh, and one final thing. Gardening looks like trash on mobile, in my opinion. I have put some effort into this. I have put some effort into this. But this is what it looks like. It can't show you all of the same detail it would normally show you on the big screen. You know how your little watering cans and the this and the that. It doesn't really work well on your tiny screen. I think I might need to just do an entirely separate mobile layout for this. We may not get as pretty of pictures, or you're not going to get this border and you're just going to have a row down of 9 little plots with images on it. I'm still figuring that out. It is usable. You can click on it and it'll pop you all the modals. You're gonna have to do more work of clicking into things to see its status than you would on a non-mobile. Okay? Functional. I was able to garden on my mobile, but it's not as nice as the desktop version. Okay. Go ahead and close the raffle.
Okay.
And then questions.
You have a question also. I need you to do a thing for me as well. If we don't have a bonded Toko, is it worth joining the alpha?
No. No, it's not, because we're in December. We're in close. You can't bond a Toko. I'm sorry. If you have 0 bonded Tokos, all I can say is for the last year plus, I've been telling you the bonding is going to be part of gardening, that you need a bonded Toko. We're in close, so you can't get a Toko bonded in this 2 weeks. If you don't have one, it's not worth your time to join this. You can't do anything. Oh, crap. That's something I need to tell them too. It's not worth your time. Don't join this. Spend that 2 weeks doing your 3/2 bonding images and kick it in the 1st of January. Because my hope is to have the beta with group open in January. That's why we're speed running this alpha. That's why I'm involving the whole player base to get it up and running versus trying to do it all myself.
Or strictly tiny team on the admins or something.
Strictly tiny team on the admins. And as you all know, I got other projects this December. I got to do a PHP update on our site. I need to try and finish trackers. And I need to at least get started on the Verma, thank you, adventure. Because while I think that's not going to happen this year, and I'm sorry, I really did try to hold all these promises, I want to at least get it to the point that we're talking about that like we're talking about gardening, where you know the progress that's happening. I'm telling you, hey guys, I'm wiring this in today. We're about 50% through the adventure. And then very, very early in January, we hit the ground running with that. And I do think that our regions are going to be more like a 2-month window than a 1-month window going forward in general. Okay.
How many am I rolling over here?
How many entries did we have?
21.
2.
Okay.
Gold slots.
Alright, I need you to address event being late and events will be dropping today, and that I won't have any Tokopedia guides for this written because I'm doing this.
For gardening?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's in my to-do list too.
Okay.
Alright, so Caesar, my dude. My cat's very angry at me because I've been gone. There are a couple things left for us to talk about while Dunn handles the raffle. Through talking in chat, I did say that, hey, we're going to figure out how you unlock these things as we go. And we determined that your maximum bonded tier will determine how many Tokos you can have in gardening. So I have only tier 1 Tokos. So I only have 1 person. If you have tier 2 Tokos, you can have up to 2 Tokos. The Tokos do not need to be tier 2. But you have a tier 2 Toko, so you get 2. You need to have a tier 3 Toko to get 3, but you could put 3 tier 1s in. That would be fine. That's the actual tier of the Toko in there doesn't matter as long as it's bonded. So that's how that's going to work. As you can see, also, you can only make changes to your settings when you have 100% energy. So you cannot switch regions middle of the day, and you cannot switch Tokos middle of the day. You need to do it before you begin in the morning when you have 100%. You'll pop into your garden. You'll see this bar fill up to 100. You can pop over to manage and go. We do not have Tokopedia pages for these. As you've heard, Don and I were off at con, and I was still doing these between selling werewolf books. So we didn't make time to do the Tokopedia pages. Our goal is to have those for beta, not for alpha. Your Tokopedia, air quotes that, are these 3 podcasts that we have. And the channel in which you can come and ask me any questions you need about gardening. And we can talk it through from there, okay? So that. Also, as Dunn has requested, why was there no Advent last night? Because we got home at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I was driving in LA traffic.
Yeah, we were driving out of LA and... Apologies, grabbing a drink. We're driving out of LA. We didn't get to leave until 7. We arrived home at 2 a.m. It was dark. We were exhausted by it was time to roll Advent. Dunn will have both of them rolled today.
Double Advent tonight.
Double Advent tonight. That's all that's going on there. There's no other big, bad, crazy. Big shout out to all the people who did the Advent Tokos.
They're amazing.
You guys rock. That made life so much easier than previous years.
Mm-hmm.
So we have them. They're ready to go. They're through DC. It was purely that we were driving basically through the night
With
dead zones to get home. That's it. What was the other one?
The snowfall events will similarly be out a little later today, tomorrow. So like cards and everything.
Snowfall cards and all of that. She's saying today, I'm being realistic, probably tomorrow, as we catch up on those few things. Normally we would have spent the time between Thanksgiving and Cyber Monday doing these to-dos. Just didn't happen this year because of LosCon.
Social.
We were being extremely social for us. All right. Questions on anything else I've just said?
Okay. I know you don't get to keep what is planted, but if you grow stuff, do the Tokos keep their growth or is everything wiped? Strike that, reverse it.
Sorry, what?
Okay, so they're asking, they're saying they don't get to keep what is planted, but do the Tokos keep their growth? And it's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Your Tokos do not keep any experience. Anything you harvested, you get to keep.
Yep. Oh, your winners are Kier and Violets. What am I putting in the...
Gold slots.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go do that and announce.
Yeah. So Kier and Violets, congratulations, you got a gold slot. You are raffle winners. I swore I said that earlier, but I don't think Dunn heard me.
Did you not roll this raffle announcements?
Oh, not yet.
From the 26th?
Not yet.
Jesus.
Okay, what were we doing on the 26th? What was I doing on the 26th?
When was the 26th?
The day that I did Stickermageddon.
Ah, yes, Stickermageddon.
Okay, the day that I spent 12 hours making stickers in our kitchen. No, I didn't roll it.
Okay, I'm not going to announce in there to not confuse, but I'm going to go deposit now.
Okay. If you feel like rolling that one, let me know.
I'm not awake enough yet.
Okay, that's what I thought. Whew. All right. I don't think there's anything else for me to tell y'all about gardening. I'll do one more sweep for questions when Dunn is done.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
Dunn is done putting things in banks. I'll go ahead and stop sharing that. Drop us back down to this one so I can see the chat.
Oh yeah, we've been trash talking you the whole time.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like you guys have been. Huh. Wow. Love trash talk. Okay. Right.
Okay, deposited.
Deposited. Turns out that a bunch of the vendors who were near us, who were other authors and people just selling cool stuff in general, also played Pokemon Go. So every time a raid egg hit, which was a lot this weekend, someone would be like, oh, Zamazenta, and everyone would be like, pop their phones, hit their parties up, and drop in. So suddenly there would be like 10 people hit the raid, and then other people at the hotel being like, I think there's something happening. I better join in here. We're going to beat this.
Furious tapping in the vendor hall.
Furious tapping in the vendor hall for 5 minutes, and then everyone went back to what they were doing. I swear, every time it happened, someone came up to our booth to buy werewolf books. So I kept being like, hand my phone to Dunn without even looking at her, and start pitching as she is furiously tapping 2 phones. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
All right, both were deposited.
Yes.
I do not see any typing in questions, so I think we're okay.
We're okay? All right. We're close, everybody. We're so close to this line on gardening, and we're so close to this line on other big things that we need to do. We're doing it. Good job. Expect an announcement in the next hour in Discord, just in Discord, about the alpha. Okay? And that me telling you the page is up, and that I made those 2 fixes of things that I found as I was talking to you all.
And while you're doing that, I will go get the category and channel set up. Do we want this to be role locked, or do we?
Nope,
Okay.
not at all. If somebody's like, what's going on over here? And they come in and like, oh, I'm willing to test that and wander on over, that's great. And I also don't want to have the maintenance of pulling people in and out.
Okay, can do.
I am lazy above many things, even though these people won't believe me. All right. Thanks, all. Bye.
Bye, everyone.